Hey everyone, welcome back. Icon here. Thanks for checking out another episode of Esports Analysis. Today we're hopping back on board with Formal. A lot of people have been wanting to see Formal. A lot of people have been wanting to see Envoy. Unfortunately, Envoy hasn't scrimmed in like 4 or 5 days, so I haven't been able to get a POV from him. So we're a little bit limited right now, but I always love to follow Formal. Not only is he one of the best ARs in the game, but he does a really nice job of just holding down rotations and flanks and locking down those lanes that are on the outsides of the map. So that is what we're going to be looking at today, which is what you see him doing right now. So as this is going from P1 to P2, one thing that Formal does really well is that he's able to lock down this bottom dirt area. So as he's looking over here, one of the easiest or one of the best ways to go ahead and flank through here to gain spawns for P2 in electronic shop is to push out this left hand side. And if you're able to successfully do that and then you gain spawns, these construction spawns where Formal is sitting right now, then that's how you get spawns. And then if you're spawning in construction, the enemy team will be spawning over at ammo. Let me go ahead and draw that real quick. So in the very top right hand corner of your screen, let's go ahead. We're on P1 right now, and this is where Formal is looking. So essentially what happens is, by the way, they're battling Toronto. I don't know if I mentioned that yet. I've been so focused anyways. But so when you spawn over here, if you go bottom dirt and you push out this left-hand side, if you're successful, you'll gain these spawns right here by P4 or in top construction. And then what that does, if you take over those spawns, that'll spawn the enemy out over here at ammo. So essentially what happens, if you're able to successfully push through dirt, then all of a sudden the enemy team has just this one little route to push through as they're trying to get into P2, whereas you have spawns and you have all of that access to that left-hand side of P2. And as you can see right now, not only were they unsuccessful in flipping for P1, if we're talking about Toronto here, not only were they unsuccessful at flipping, but they didn't get any of that time at all. So this game is going super fast. We're already, by the time this is going to be over, this is going to be like a 112-0 lead. And this is about the worst thing that you could possibly ask for if you're a professional team trying to play hardpoint. So as this is rotating back from P2 to P3, the one thing about this map is that it's probably the most forgiving map, right? Because if you completely get slayed on P2 and you can't push it out and you can't flip spawns, when it goes to P3 on the opposite side of the map, those are super sticky spawns. So you're probably not going to lose those spawns. You would have to lose like 3 team gun battles in order for that to happen. And even right now, I would expect that Toronto's still going to be spawning back behind. So you can look at the kill feed. See, so let me show that real quick. So if you're looking at the kill feed, let me go ahead and draw on screen over here. Arcides, Seth actually ended up killing Envoy, but Seth got another kill. Arcides got another kill. So there was basically a complete team wipe there. If you're looking at the mini-map in the top right-hand corner, essentially what happened is we're in P3 right now. So they got all of those kills. Chicago secured all of those kills right here, right in front of P3. And then what happened, they're already pushed up here. They got all those kills. They're still spawning. So Toronto is still spawning right here. So essentially, even though they were able to get kills inside of P3 and push forward, they weren't able to push out that spawn. This is just one of those spawns where are super sticky. And now it's going to be probably pretty easy for Toronto to get back and capture or reclaim the last 25 seconds or so of this hill. So that's what I'm talking about when, as that was rotating from P2 to P3, and I was really talking about just how forgiving these spawns are. That's exactly what I was saying. So, or how forgiving this map is, I should say. Now, again, as this is about to rotate from P3 to P4, you'll notice that P4 is on the opposite side of the map. So, Arcides, you just saw a real quick glimpse of what he was doing up there at that top platform. And essentially all he was doing is he was just holding that push, right? He's just not allowing them to escape P2. He's still there. So, Seth just died up there and Arcides also fell. But essentially what's going to happen now is the mid-map is open and that left side flank is open. So, ooh, there was nobody watching dirt. Wow, that's actually a little bit surprising. So, look, this is the exact thing that we were talking about to begin with. Remember when we said the enemy team's going to try to push through dirt, and if they're successful at pushing through dirt, you're going to spawn over by ammo? That's exactly what we just saw from Formal. When he died in hill and they gave up the push over through dirt, now he's spawning out and he's spawning over by ammo. So, not only is that the push that you want to take as you're rotating from P3 to P4, but that's also the push that's the same exact strategy that you're trying to execute if you're the perfect team that's spawning out on P1, because if you then have control of construction, you can push down those back stairs. You can be set up for P2. So it's actually kind of interesting that we were able to see it from the reverse angle and see exactly what was happening with Formal, because not every time do you get to actually see that strategy from both sides of the coin. Now, again, that was a really nice job from Toronto of pushing out that spawning, being able to get the majority of the time that was there inside of P4, but now as it's rotating back to P5, again, that's the issue. These hard points don't really string together all that often, especially on this map. There are some where if you control one side of the map, that's how you end up winning that map, but this map is not like this. So it was a successful push for Toronto being able to push out P4, but the problem is that as it's going and rotating back to P5, now they're spawning out again. So with 20 seconds left, I don't foresee Toronto being able to take over this at the moment, and you can see that Chicago is already leaking out. They're already trying to flip spawns again as it's rotating back to P1 on the opposite side of the map. So I think this game might be over with a little bit earlier than we had anticipated. So with that, let me go ahead. Let me turn up the volume on their chat, because I do like to include a little bit of what they're talking about strategy-wise, so you guys can get the sense and an idea of what's happening. So with that, let me go ahead. Let me turn up the audio, and you guys can hear what's going on with them.
Yeah, I got him. Go too.
I'm picking up dirt.
You're going dirt? Yeah, up rugs. I'm pushing rugs.
You guys push dirt last time. They pushed dirt last time.
Pillars.
Seth with a two-piece, Gunless got one, Formal got one. This is already flipped.
One right.
Whoa, 2 rugs.
Yo, he's already new. Cammy's already new.
Oh, dirt on me.
I just got sound horse the fucking man.
Yeah, you did. Holy shit.
Cammy's in
Well,
new.
I'm looking back. He can shell side. I'm watching back there.
So think about that. Formal died inside P1. Arcity's died inside P2, and they still had that spawn. He's still spawning here.
Wait, he just saw me.
Toronto has somebody inside P2, and they had somebody up in the top platform, and Formal was still spawning in the back right there. Unbelievable.
No more in construction.
Going back dub.
One was camping. What?
Nice one.
They're gonna spawn pocket.
It's a little bit of a questionable death there from Formal. You don't see that too often. It didn't seem like that was the height of which you should probably die.
He's in the back dub.
Back door.
2 back door. 3 back door.
3.
One front.
2 more hill. Cammy's weak in hill front door. Laying down front door. Laying down.
I will say, this is a nice little touch of resilience here from Toronto. They were down like 200 to 60, somewhere in that range. So they have been able to bring it back a little bit. The problem is that if you're down by that much on this map, it's just not going to bode well for you, just because it pings pongs back and forth so much.
No, give me time.
Yeah, you got it.
Top rugs.
Left, Band's dead. One more left, right, Zen.
And this is what makes Formal so good. The fact that this left-hand side of the map, he's the only person that's over
chilling there, dude.
here.
He's left.
Fortunately, he goes down, but that's why
Back up.
ARs are so good, top ARs like that, because you can just, 4 people on one side of the map, you can send them to the left side of the map and here. Just take care of that lane for us.
Rugs. We should come to town.
One left right now.
Bottom mid. Give me down. Top pot. Nice. One left. Nice. Let's go left. Zen.
Spawning left.
Yeah, spawn behind him, guys.
With that, it looks like the majority of the kills are coming in there. I don't foresee. There's one more push there.
Top rug, jammy. You go challenge me middle.
Ain't killing.
Top rug still. Cammy's doing.
I don't know.
Pillars in front door.
Yeah, I don't know where spawning.
One from window. Nice. Top rug.
Weak, good trade.
One's just holding rugs right now.
And it looks like that is going to be the end of the game. So if you're a Chicago fan, this would probably be looked at as business as usual, right? They did a really nice job of just controlling rotations and controlling where their spawns were, and basically they just controlled the entire map, right? Even when Toronto was set up in some instances, they were still able to push it out. Now, did host have a little bit to do with it? Who knows? Some of those guys can be so spread out that you don't really know all the underlying stuff there. If we're looking at the scoreboard, that's a great game from Seth. SCUMP has been frying recently. I wish he would stream again because I want to put him up on my VODs. I just don't ever see him online. It looks like, I think I saw his last video was like 5 or 6 days ago. So 32 and 21 for SCUMP. If you look down below, METHODZ was 12 and 24. there's not very much of a bright spot there for Toronto. So if you're new around here and you enjoyed this content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you hang out for all of this coverage as we head a little bit deeper into the CDL. If you have any comments about this, put them down below. I love to reply to my comments and I love the interaction. So anything you guys want to talk about, put it down below. Leave a like before you head on your way. And with that, guys, thank you so much. We'll check you in the next video.